The latest Raiders news is stirring up plenty of talk. Right at the start of the season, Geno Smith flashed moments that fired up the fans, but also left some tough questions hanging. Meanwhile, a legendary figure in the sport showed up in a way nobody expected, shaking things up behind the scenes and sparking debates that go far beyond the field. And to top it off, there's a bigger concern that could decide whether this team takes off or keeps stumbling with ups and downs. These are the hottest updates on the Raiders, and the first one goes straight through the man now leading the offense. The Raiders have been busy shuffling the deck all offseason, and while there's definitely talent in the building, it's clear they're still figuring out how all the pieces fit, especially under center. After years of quarterback roulette, Vegas made a bold move and brought in Geno Smith. And in week 1, it looked like a stroke of genius. The dude threw for over 350 yards and had the kind of command this franchise hasn't seen in a while. But then came Monday Night Football, and let's just say it was a tough watch. NFL.com's Nick Shook dropped a fresh set of QB power rankings, slicing the league's starters into 5 tiers. Geno? He landed in the 3rd group, smack in the middle of the pack. Shook didn't hold back, saying Geno had one of the worst games of his career against a Chargers defense that came out playing way above expectations. The silver lining? Shook still believes in a bounce back, but a lot of that hope hinges on Brock Bowers, who's clearly battling through that nagging knee issue from week 1. Raiders head coach Pete Carroll, yep, still weird to say that and not associate him with Seattle, talked earlier this week about the balancing act they're walking, being aggressive while not giving the ball away. Geno let it fly in week 1 and looked dialed in, but in week 2, it was 3 picks and a whole lot of head scratching. Carroll tried to keep things optimistic. That's experience and trust. I know what he saw and what he was trying to do. A couple of those were catchable, but the defense made plays. I'm not going to slow him down, he's got the instincts, but yeah, we'll be smarter about when to take those shots. Geno, for his part, isn't sugarcoating anything. He faced the music this week and owned it completely. It was tough to watch, honestly. There were a lot of things I should have done better. I watched the film over 10 times, just trying to understand what went wrong. The accuracy, decision-making, maybe being a bit too aggressive, and in crunch time, where I usually thrive, we just didn't get it done. So yeah, it wasn't pretty. But Geno's self-awareness and Carroll's willingness to ride with him show this team isn't panicking. They've got faith the real Geno, the week 1 version, will show up more often than not. Still, with Bowers banged up and the offense still gelling, it's going to take more than just hope. But if Geno's situation already has people talking, what comes next is even more intriguing and just broke. Tom Brady might not be throwing touchdowns anymore, but he sure knows how to stir the NFL pot. On Monday Night Football, the 7-time Super Bowl champ, who now rocks a $37.5 million Fox Sports contract and part ownership of the Raiders, was spotted up in the coach's booth, headset on, looking less like a broadcaster doing prep and more like a guy calling the next play. Naturally, the NFL rumor mill went full throttle. TMZ Sports lit the match, reporting that Brady is on the phone with Raiders offensive coordinator Chip Kelly multiple times a week. Peter Schrager backed it up, saying these aren't casual chats. Brady's legitimately tossing around ideas like it's a strategy session. Michael Babcock added some fuel of his own, saying, "There's no way they've got Tom Brady up there and he's not sharing input. That's just not believable." Now, does Babcock think Brady's spending hours every week grinding tape with Kelly? Not quite. But he's convinced there's involvement. Raiders head coach Pete Carroll even chimed in, playing it cool. "Yeah, Chip talks to Tom regularly. He's a tremendous asset. We talk about life, football, whatever comes up. He's got great insight." But here's where it gets sticky. Critics are pointing fingers at Brady's dual role: TV guy for Fox and minority owner of the Raiders. Before each broadcast, Fox analysts sit in private sessions with teams, picking up strategy, player habits, and insider nuggets. The concern? Brady takes that privileged info and, whether consciously or not, feeds it back to Vegas. Dan Patrick threw down the gauntlet. He's got the headset on, he's in the booth, and I'm thinking, wait, what if the team he's covering ends up playing the Raiders? Well, guess what? Brady's got the Bears on his upcoming schedule, and the Bears face the Raiders shortly after. That's a direct line to conflict of interest territory. Yes, the league already gave Brady set up the green light, and sure, his star power buys a lot of leeway. But the optics? Not great. Especially if Vegas ends up squeezing out a close win against a team Brady just covered. Or worse, lands a free agent who happened to spill some tea in a production meeting. Bottom line, this isn't going away. This is Tom Brady, after all. the guy who used to break down game film like it was sacred scripture. If the Raiders suddenly start out scheming opponents with eerily perfect timing, you can bet this conversation comes roaring back. And at some point, TB12 might be forced to choose. Does he want to call games or help win them? In the meantime, all eyes are on Sunday, September 21, when the Raiders take on the Washington Commanders at 10 a.m. PDT. And yeah, you better believe folks will be watching who's in that booth. And after that, things get even more unexpected. News that could finally reveal if the Raiders are ready to play as one team. The Raiders went full remodel mode this offseason, flipping their roster and trying to build a more balanced, complete squad. But now, with Game 3 on deck, it's clear. If this team's going to make noise, they've got to tighten things up and play complementary football. For real this time. Week 1 teased that possibility. The offense and defense actually looked like they were on the same page, feeding off each other. It was refreshing. But Week 2? That old split personality came back. The defense held its own, while the offense flatlined. If this squad wants to compete, that kind of imbalance can't fly. This Sunday against the Commanders, the Raiders need to bring the heat, literally. They dialed up pressure on Drake May in the opener and got a few flashes. Against Justin Herbert in Week 2, they tried again, but it didn't fully land. This week? No excuses. They have to get in the quarterback's face, disrupt the timing, and force some chaos in the backfield and run game. Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham isn't underestimating what they're up against. On Thursday, he gave some insight into how tricky Washington's offense can be under Kliff Kingsbury. Basically, Kingsbury loves to mess with defenders' minds, pulling edge players out of position, layering misdirection, and giving defenders just enough eye candy to second-guess themselves. Graham said it best. If you're a hook player, you're going to be in the kitchen. Translation? Expect to get cooked if you're not ready. Kingsbury's schemes are designed to create conflict, and with either a poised young QB or a seasoned vet like Marcus Mariota under center, plus the ability to stretch the field vertically, Washington's got more weapons than people give them credit for. Still, there's good news. This Raiders defense has been quietly balling out. Through 2 games, they've given up just 6 total points in the second halves. They're bending a little, sure, but not breaking. Graham's got them playing tough, smart football, even when the offense isn't holding up its end. But let's be real. A defense can only carry the load for so long. They need help. They need sustained drives, points on the board, and momentum-shifting moments from the offense to keep this thing from collapsing in on itself. So, heading into Week 3, the mission is simple. Stay locked in, stay disciplined, and finally start playing as one team, not 2 units taking turns. The Raiders are at a crossroads. Geno has to bounce back fast, Brady stirs up the chatter, and the team as a whole needs to prove it can stay consistent. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next.